If you go and you say EFT somebody, they immediately think about couples and about applying the science of bonding and attachment to couples therapy. However, it has been true all through these last 35 years that while we have been determinedly trying to change the field of couple therapy, the vast majority of us as trainers and researchers have always been working with individuals and families as well. So in the book that I put out last year, Attachment Theory in Practice, which I'm pretty proud of, I made the point that in fact, EFT is not just a couples therapy, an effective, powerful, on-target couples therapy. It's not just that. It is an attachment-orientated approach to psychotherapy in general. It is an attachment-orientated, emotionally focused approach that believes in the power of creating corrective emotional experiences in every session, right? And also believes that you can show what you do. You can show what you do on videotape. You can train it, and you can demonstrate it works. So this is what I was saying in this new book is, it doesn't matter who you have in your office. If you have the map to emotions and longings and vulnerabilities, if you have the map given by attachment science, it doesn't matter whether you have an individual in your office suffering from anxiety and depression or PTSD, whether you have a distressed couple where they're just distressed, or where one person might be suffering from depression, or whether you have a distressed family, you still have a map for people's inner emotions, for what goes wrong, and also what is most wonderful about attachment science, for exactly what you need to do to put it right. Attachment science tells us the way home in psychotherapy. And what I say in the book I put out last year is, attachment science is the obvious choice for a way of thinking and seeing and intervening that creates coherence, makes sense of the whole field of couple therapy. So EFIT, and don't you love the acronym? I love the acronym. EFIT is all the wisdom we've learned in all our studies with couples and working with couples over the years, very distressed couples with all kinds of problems in depression, anxiety, and PTSD. And EFIT is sort of articulating clearly for the first time what this looks like, this attachment-orientated, emotionally focused, humanistic therapy looks like when you apply it just to individuals. And of course, it's amazingly similar to EFT for couples, but it's also kind of a twist. It's like getting your head around a corner, and saying, hey, wait a minute, you can use the same skills. Hey, wait a minute, you can use the same core interventions, which have grown in EFT in the last few years. They're not the same as we were putting out. We've sort of found more efficient ways to describe them, I think, in the last few years. You can use the same interventions, the same way of seeing, but this time you have an individual in your office. So, for example, you have my client who has an eating disorder and extreme debilitating anxiety in my office. And I'm doing the same things with her as I would do in EFT for couples. I've got a non-pathologizing, accepting orientated Rogerian view of what's going on with her. I help her move into her emotions. She says to me, the real problem isn't my eating disorder. The real problem is I wake up every morning in a mess of anxiety, and I spend all my day planning every single social interaction I'm going to have during the day, right? And we talk about that. And she said, the main problem in my life as we go into her emotions is I'm alone, alone, alone. I'm always alone. And even when I'm with people, I feel alone because I'm hiding. And I say, yes. And I say, and of course it's an EFT. So I say, and do you feel safe here? Do you have to hide with me? And she tears and she says, no, you see me. I say, good. So we go and we do what we do in EFT. We help her take her into her emotions, make friends with her emotions, get her emotional balance. And then, as we always do, and we've learned to do in couples, we take her into the core primal dramas that have her decide who she is and what life's about. We take her into the drama that's always going on in her head with her mother. We take her into the drama that's always going on in her head with little 6-year-old Mary. Little 6-year-old Mary, who's always saying to her, you can call, no one will come, no one ever did. You're alone in the dark, you're alone in the dark. You have to prepare for the worst all the time, prepare for the worst. And when I take her in, I help her shift her emotions so that they're clearer and they're more manageable. And then I take her into these scenarios. I say, close your eyes. Can you close your eyes? And can you see little tiny Mary? And can you hear her calling and saying, I'm alone in the dark, I'm alone in the dark? And she says, yes. And she cries for her, right? And I hold her hand and we cry for Mary. And then I say, what would you like to tell her? As the big Mary who did survive, the one who came and found me, the one who's sitting in my office doing brilliant work, the one who's, able to talk to me about all these things with such clarity. What would you like to say to her? And she says, I'd like to say to her, you're scared, but Sue says everybody's scared. You're scared and it's okay. You're strong and I'm here now. I've grown up. I'm here and I can do it and I can understand and I'm going to hold you. I say, good. Could you have this image of picking her up and holding her to your chest? And she says, yes. And I say, what does that feel like? And she says, oh, it feels like I've put this huge weight down, this weight that's been on me all my life. So we create these powerful corrective emotion experiences, just like we did with couples and we can do with families. We're talking to people about how to create this with individuals. And we're doing a huge study right now, the first one on EFIT. And, it's going to work. I know it's going to work. And I'm used to my studies working because I think it's because I'm so passionate about what I do, and so are all the therapists. And, I expect the therapist to come out of their office in this study and do what I saw all my therapists do in the couple studies, which is come out of the office and go, yes, okay, like it's exhilarating. It's exhilarating to feel on target and like you have a map to people's inner world. You can take them into it. You can be there with them. You know how to tune into them. You know how to make sense of their experience. And then you can lead them home. You can lead them out into these new interactions with all the characters in their head. Your Irvin Yalom, who I love to death, said, and I interviewed a few years ago, it was a great honor for me. He says, a good therapist gets to know the cast of characters inside your client's head, right? Well, what we do is we help people pick the key attachment figures, the key cast of characters, and help them have new, powerful dialogues with those people. So we're excited as hell about it. I'm excited as hell. I go off to my practice. I'm just seeing individuals right now. I'm just doing EFIT, which feels a bit weird not to have a couple come into my office. But I'm just as excited as hell about it. And I hope that we're going to make a contribution to the individual therapy field. Of course we are. What the hell? We know how people work. We know how to create these powerful emotional experiences. So EFT is just on fire right now, with new books coming out on family, a new book. I revised the book on couples. We've got the 3rd edition, and I'm going to write one on EFIT, and we're doing a study on EFIT. So I invite people to just come and see what we're doing. It's great.